What's the minimum thickness you would say we need?
I just used a small drop of super glue, glued it right back on the 2 bottles.
We're gonna just do the same thing.
Oh, head. And then you also, exactly.
More time.
Yeah.
Flat, rough surface.
Tip of it broke off. Made from glass bottles, we now have a couple of glass.
Here's what we're going to try. The bottom of a glass bottle is fairly flat, and by using a rock and a piece of my piece of leather isn't really important.
No, not really.
All right, well yours just
Curved spots. You don't even have to use glass bottles. You can use pretty much any kind of glass TV. You can take a hammer to it if you want, or you can actually drop like
Can't hardly even see the division line. Probably not as good for hunting at this point.
Now you've got the eye once. It's not.
This arrowhead that I have right here is one that you made previously, correct?
Yes.
Now this
These are actually really effective points. The bottom's right off. Obsidian pieces.
head broke off. I think I'm just gonna finish it up.
Not fun and not worth it.
Last bottle for this, do you?
No, you can actually use just about anything that'll break. So these are.
Well, I was making my arrowhead. Things are going real tight pieces. Guys, there's still more for you to see. The
Glass here.
Are we just going for round, or are we trying to get the arrowhead shape already?
We're just trying. So you want to make a nice platform for you to make pressure flakes on.
Okay.
So monitors, whatever, as long as it's glass and you have a
lot cleaner of rock that,
well, other than they're from
Sharp and a slightly less sharp. I assume the shape not only has a fairly flat bottom, but the sides of it are also flat. So you could probably shatter into a bunch of pieces, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Special thanks to our friend Clay.
Got some custom mixed pieces as well.
Interesting swirls of color. Psychedelic arrow.
I will try. I haven't.
What have you.
And right now we're kind of working on making
I might even just go straight to the pressure flaker on this one. You use your tool and
completed arrowheads.
Stylish.
nearly the exact same as glass bottle. Obsidian
On the sharp edge.
So it's obsidian is a
It's a good file.
Yeah, the file's better than the saw.
Nail, we can press little chips of glass off. Glass instead of yeah, you're just kind of scraping down.
Pieces of glass fit together so nicely. Lots of availability for glass, less availability for actual obsidian, but the principles
Heads right there, and some nice clear bluish glass. This would be. So you don't always use a glass somewhere. You did.
Exactly.
All right.
And so for that, we kind of want to use eye protection. I've gotten glass in my glass bottles.
Do the Native Americans not have glass bottles?
They did not.
I got to feel that it's very pointy as I press it onto my finger. So now we can see I have. We've got our rocks. We have our pointy tools. Do these have a name, or do we just call them pointy tools? I get to look full-on mad scientist. It's not needle sharp, as though it were the same. And if you were in a real the arrowhead onto an arrow, then it's stabbed through the glove. I'm just telling you, it's also stabbed into my finger. Glass is sharp, kids. To it.
And that's okay.
Do I just go at it from the other side now and kind of take it to the back surface? So what's my next step?
Dull the
Glass, which, while it breaks in a similar method, is often a
versa and just keep. Yeah, exactly.
Just need a bigger flat piece and. I'm not really moved, and there's a jagged edge going all the way around. I've napped across most of the surfaces. The
Shards getting into your hands.
I don't. You're
get a nice edge formed on the bottle and on the arrow. On this one, you've already kind of got an edge, a nice flat section. Flake off the edge of the glass and shape the arrowhead. The Native American
time, and just sort of tunnel your way in. Chip a little bit on one side. So I have taken off.
First thing you really need, you don't want glass.
So you recommend I push on this side
In that way.
that direction.
Also need a pressure flaker. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a nail into it.
Yeah, but it looks good.
So one really cool thing about glass is when it breaks, the bottle.
We need to get the bottom off of the bottle. How do you usually do? Do you just take a hammer?
Game or in that can make it harder to work with.
So it's a lot more impure, and I suspect it's also harder to get your hands on.
Yeah. We get 8 or 9 arrowheads just from the.
Out of glass bottles. Clay, how did
With a small stone, you could still kind of make a.
you found a chunk of obsidian or just a piece of glass? Study history a little better.
So yeah, they used obsidian or flint or other type. One is made of
Obsidian, so edge like you've been doing.
most of that edge, but I now have almost like a different curved edge that I've put in.
This is actually,
Didn't have this nice, done this before, so we'll see how it goes. Bottom to it. Does the color make any difference?
the color doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
So just choose your blade.
I'd probably say the best thickness is probably somewhere around 1/8 of an inch in thickness.
Pretty good one, I think.
Yeah,
Good thickness.
it's pretty easy to hit up your local thrift store and find some
Really nice.
glass. That's the only thing that really would edge off. But if you have a dull edge, then you can grab more of the surface and then pull,
Mostly flat bottom.
and maybe over here, and eventually you're going to end up with kind of an arrowhead shape. Like this point, I would make a platform probably on this side and push flakes across this direction.
So it breaks predictably, making it a better thing to practice on. Mine, of course, as I showed,
Is a leather pad. You definitely,
all right, here's a stone. Oh, there we go.
it'll flake off.
This little lip where it turns back. Previous rocket videos, and we hope to collaborate with him again.
You can actually just kind of
Can the same principle be used for
mold glass dishware.
Very cool. Right here, I've got an olive oil bottle that
Didn't work for this. So, and kind of make a platform on one side.
and then chip a little bit on the other side, trying very hard not to break the back of the arrowhead off, which like I can press on it and it's not stabbing into my finger right now, but I can shaping it into an arrowhead and sharpening it at the same time. So what do we need to get started?
Nice cutting edge for, I don't know if you had to cut up some, yes.
To get rid of that edge.
Because what happens is when you try to pressure flake on a sharp edge, that if it hit in the center that it would crack lengthwise instead of breaking the bottom off.
All right, Clay, we both...
To get rid of like this curved edge along the bottom.
Okay, so like all of the ridges and stuff.
Exactly, but I found a bottom. So I was worried with the drill bit, since this was a large flat bottom.
Last video, and you should go check that out. The box at the bottom will show you what YouTube thinks you need to do more to it.
We would use antler for this. We could also do that.
And adults, just it's really sharp. It doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult.
Large flakes off.
Make it dull.
It actually is sharper than steel, like curve, instead of a concave, which was kind of right here. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, the first thing we need to do is...
Either nails are a lot harder than I knew, or we really need to replace this.
Best ones are the ones that kind of have a flat bottom. So you want to get rid of all the... You just push against the edge, and then a glass...
It's used for hundreds of years. It did tend to chip in a similar way. We have the advantage of... Looks better than mine, so I'm at least going to trim off some of my extra. When did you get into this?
I've been into it for quite a while.
Able to break it right. What am I doing wrong to get it to go all the way around that curve more?
So what I would do a dowel and sharpen the point. That'll allow us to pressure.
Notches are going to be put in. These are welding goggles, and it would be too up. We're still trying to remove that curve.
Exactly.
Watching next, and this bomb in the middle will and more pure in its formula. In this video, we're going to show you how to make glass arrowheads using the same techniques that Native American dark, but don't worry, pops up like that. So, hey guys, we're here with my friend Clay today, and he is going to be teaching us how to make arrowheads.
It'll almost go down to the atom scale when it breaks. So
Down the other way.
Exactly, that's what I would do. So what you really want to do is actually dull the edge, but also
Native American style.
well, ever since I was a little kid, I found a little arrowhead in our yard and thought it was cool, and I've taught myself how to make them.
Very cool. And so the box up at the top will transport you directly to our lab. And then somehow I managed to drop it, tip of the arrowhead size, so I can at least just like place the tip of it next to it and see what it looked like when it was intact.
Arrowhead is just lava that cooled really quickly, so quickly it just turned into glass.
All right, and so why is it we're using about the same way we've been... So now I need to make these pointy, right?
Yes.
Pointy, pointy.
Obsidian will have all kinds of other stuff mixed.
Survival situation.
Pressure flakers.
Pressure flakers. Bottle bottoms, what's the next step?
So the first thing we need to do is make a nice edge along the base of a curved edge on the opposite side that you're actually going to be pushing. But you want it to be a convex. Steel nail works really well too.
Again in the future with some more rockets.
Excited.
Should be good stuff.
Take a heavy drill bit down and then just shake it, and then the bottom will just break right off. The first edge here,
Concave and what used to be
doing that, like I would do that on this edge here, and then I would do it kind of on this edge.
At this point, I've gotten my piece of glass to most of the curve. We're doing the rest of the shaping, which is just to chip off, flake off little bits of it to have our glass. I think now we need some glass, right?
Yep.
All right, you said that we want to choose a glass bottle that has a subscribe you to the channel so you never miss a video. Don't forget to ring that bell and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then. Random extensions. We've got our leather. Now Clay, you've got a bunch of different varieties of glass.
It'll just kind of break the ends.
All right, let's go outside so that all of our glass is not in the workshop. Clay for coming out and showing us how to make arrowheads out of glass bottles. Clay has helped us out on a couple of our
Pieces of from like an old TV screen, some artificial.
so you can make it sharp.
Exactly. Even though they're quite fragile and would probably only be single comfortable. The second thing you need is like a round stone. So in order to do that, you want...
Now what I need to do is add some notches on the back where I can use a cord or something to attach obsidian rock.
This glass is a lot easier to work with.
A slightly more... Right.
It isn't really handmade glass as well. This one's got glitter, pretty.
Shiny.
And then I got...
Doesn't sound fun. Now, the goggles I have are very, very That is stabbed into my finger. Like it's obviously making knife-type pieces, I assume.
Sides.
Glass jars from food can also work really well.
Just no temper.
Where I'm gonna end up cutting my hands on it later. After cracking a couple of our glass discs in half, we grabbed a couple more.
That didn't quite work.
Well, it broke.
That'll help us kind of... So most bottles are about that thickness.
Cool.
So the first thing we need to do is just get...
Break this up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
get several arrowheads out of it.
Yeah, this one you could probably easily grind it down.
They're the same and it works pretty much the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Mechanic glass, it's basically, or vice versa,
Nail and a stick.
you need to get a bunch of glass bottles.